man, guys, whoever is watching those videos right now, these One Piece theories, I sincerely thank you. I've never had videos I uploaded within a couple of days make it up to 100. Usually it takes months, and I'm very happy that apparently there are people who are interested in my ramblings of One Piece. I sincerely thank you. I really do. But this isn't all about thanking you. This is also about talking about something that I recently thought about. And it came up ever since it was revealed that Devil Fruits and One Piece all have an awakening mode that's you could potentially unlock. This itself is very intriguing to me because now we know that apparently there's a power you can tap into, and actually, you really think about it, it kind of makes sense that there's a power that Devil Fruits have. You can awaken it because I mean, you really get down to it, Logia types are considered the most powerful of the entire Devil Fruits up to this point. So Haki, before the time skip, till Haki was introduced before the time skip, and now it's being used primarily after the time skip. It kind of makes a lot of sense that the Haki's being introduced into the story. There's got to be a way to combat this, considering I think it was even stated that Akainu can fight against Haki. It doesn't affect him as heavily as other Dofus users are affected by it. But what I want to talk about is in the title. This present title of this video. Possible further Haki gonna be introduced into the story at some point. Now, it makes a lot of sense that there be more Haki introduced into the story, or more abilities, because of awakened Devil Fruits. This is something that is kind of makes a lot of sense, is furthering how powerful Haki already is, because Haki is by all means overpowered, man. When you really think about it, like the first Logia types are overpowered. Now you got they got Haki users who now are able to fight Logia, Zoans, and Paramecias. That is ridiculous. Before, it was almost unimaginable if there was a way you could fight these guys. Like it was always said that you really don't want to get in a combat situation with these people because you would lose. Now it seems like Haki is a thing that now exists and has existed for several months at this point. Past the time skip. Sorry. But it just thinks that there's got to be maybe more Haki. It makes more sense, considering there's also a theory out there that Shanks doesn't have a Devil Fruit, which I'm willing to believe that actually, because he showed disinterest in willing to even eat one back when he was on the Gold Roger's ship with Buggy. He showed even more disinterest in trying to eat one when he was on the island in the first episode of One Piece where Luffy ate his fruit. Not the first episode, but it was like a flashback. Episode 2, I guess it was because they did a time, they did a not time skip, but a backflash. Dang it, my brain is not working right now. As you can tell, but they did like some kind of flashback. What I call it, backflash or whatever, flashback. When you showed Luffy, Shanks himself showed complete disinterest in wanting to eat one. And it makes a lot of sense that maybe people on his ship also don't have it, which kind of makes you think, okay, Red-Haired Shanks is the most powerful pirate in the freaking world. Second to only Whitebeard. Whitebeard being second to only Gold Roger, but Gold Roger ain't alive right now. But it's just like, it makes you think, now that we know of Awakened Devil Fruits, and it's obvious that Luffy's gonna get one, and before any of you say that, how do you know that? It's obvious. Why would Oda even have Doflamingo bring it up to Luffy in the first place? It doesn't make any logical sense to explain awakened Devil Fruits to Luffy if it wasn't gonna happen to Luffy at some point. Now, is it gonna happen to Luffy in the near future? I highly doubt it. Is it gonna happen to Luffy later down the road? Most certainly. I feel like he's gonna come across some guy who's gonna have awakened Devil Fruit, and he's gonna have to figure out how to fight him. And then during a near-death situation, or maybe he has a flashback about like Ace, and maybe Sabo is trying to get to him in time, and Sabo can't get to him in time. The Devil Fruit awakens, and you get to see what Luffy is able to do with it. But that's neither here nor there. People also saying that there's going to be some type of like training time skip. I really don't think so. Oda's already done one. Oda isn't one to repeat something. But that's neither here nor there. Again, we're here to talk about, I guess you can call it Awakened Haki. Or what somebody called Alpha Too Late has called the All Haki, the One Haki, are what's probably can become considered a god Haki, and god Haki like no one really has any real explanation to what this Haki can do. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just give my own hypothesis. Now, before I talk about that, I also want to talk about there's got to be more than the 3 types of Haki that we know at this point. Now, to help you guys understand this, okay. Now, if you guys watched the Avatar: Last Airbender, I'm bringing that up. During Aang's 4 stories, you know, like the entire series, Aang got to like it was like the chapter of fire. He goes to start training to learn the Avatar state, which is pretty much his most powerful state of being because he needs it to defeat Ozai. Now, what's important here is that he brings up, and this is somehow a trope within any fighting show, or just anything that deals with martial arts or something like that, or some type of fighting. What comes up in there is this thing called chakra, and it's this presence of energy that flows throughout the entire body, and everybody has it, but not everybody can access it. It seems like only the person who can probably access it is people who are really old, or people who possess a certain place in the world, and Aang is one of those because he's the Avatar. Now he brings up that they gotta unleash these chakras so that Aang can access his Avatar state. Now I think correctly, if people can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he talked to him about unleashing 8 chakras. Now, what's interesting about this is he talks about 8 chakras, and Aang's like, "There's that many?" His master brings up that's actually 32. But we're only going to focus on these 8 because these are the important ones. Now that is interesting because we never had to deal with them again because mainly this is Aang. But I would have found it funny if at some point we had to deal with that all 32 chakras, because that would be kind of funny. But this kind of brings some interesting point that if there's 32 chakras, that means I think there's more than 3 types of Haki. What kind of furthers my point is Usopp. Now you probably like, Usopp, what the heck is Usopp got to do with this? During the Doflamingo incident, where Luffy was fighting Doflamingo on top of that tower before the climax of his Gear 4 activated, Usopp was there trying to say that he needed to save his captain. He wanted to help his captain. He actually ended up saving him, which is kind of funny too. Because Luffy was going to be turned into a doll. Usopp, miles away, mind you, miles away, managed to snipe this little devil fruit user, and to me it was one of the cooler moments in One Piece because he managed to do it through a window. Usopp has done some ridiculous sniping like feats in the past, but I feel like this has got to be the pinnacle of his ability at this point, because Usopp is really good at this. Like I said before, during the Usopp versus Yasa fight, if Usopp was ever given a gun, it'd be over. It'd just be over. Cause like Usopp it just be OP. I mean, I think that's why Oda hasn't given him a gun yet, because that'd just be the end of everything for him. But I'm just saying, Usopp has displayed something that I can't even describe, and I know it's Haki. But my problem is I have a hard time believing it's observation Haki. I have a hard time believing that it's just observation Haki. I honestly believe Usopp has tapped into a world of power that he doesn't know how to tap into voluntarily right now. And he'll only ever be able to tap into it during high stress situations. And we'll probably come across a lot of that in the future, and then Usopp finally realizes what the heck's going on. Why is my eyesight so good? But my problem is, Usopp saw auras. Now, this is weird because I've never, I only started really reading One Piece, but I also been watching One Piece, and we're still back for a time scoop in America because I'm watching it dubbed. But we've never seen or even heard, we've never really seen through the eyes of somebody using observation Haki. But to me, I'm having a hard time believing that that's just observation Haki. I feel like Usopp tapped into some type of different Haki on accident, because seeing auras isn't something normal, and I don't think it's ever been stated that's how Haki works. Actually, I'm gonna look this up. I need to figure out if seeing auras is part of something. 1 minute. Okay, I just pulled this up just to get a good view. Now, what I think I want to talk about here is, like, in Japanese it's called colors Haki, and I'm gonna According to this, just from the very bones of it, it says which grants a user a sixth sense of the world around them and limited precognitive abilities. Now, that doesn't give me much information on it, and I don't know much about it myself. Actually, I know of it. I know of its use, but I've never really gotten a good view on it. Like, or what are the capabilities? Okay, from the looks of it, like that's what I thought. Observation Haki gives the user the ability to perceive something happening before it actually happens. Now Usopp did not do any of that before. But at that point, he just saw auras. That's all he saw. Now, either that's just something that's latent in his DNA, and maybe Usopp has some kind of bloodline we don't know about yet. But honestly, I feel like we only know of 3. Now, I want to go on the limb here and say I think there might be more than 3. Besides going and awaken Haki, maybe, just maybe, there's more than just 3. And Alpha Toei or Dig One Piece, so some like theory has that there's a 4th Haki, which encompasses all the Haki. No, I'm gonna go on the limb, be stupid. I'm gonna go and say that there's 7 types of Haki. Now, before a lot of you say like, where is this coming from? I'm just throwing out a number. There's absolutely nothing in One Piece that has stated that there's more than just 3. Besides Usopp's really weird ability to see aura, I'm thinking that's Haki. That's gotta be at this point. Usopp didn't perceive something happening before it was happening. Usopp freaking saw auras from miles away. There's no way no one in One Piece has done that yet, or shown the ability to do that yet. I honestly believe that there's more than 3. Usopp has kind of proven this at this point. Now, the thing is, we need to get more proof of this at some point. I feel like we're gonna have to see other Straw Hats awaken this to see if there's more than just the 3 we know of, and if there is, Rayleigh's gonna come back. Now, I think it's kind of given. It's kind of already given that Rayleigh is gonna come back, regardless of any of this. But this actually kind of gives Rayleigh a little bit more ground to stand on in terms of coming back, because we now know for 100% sure that if there's more than just 3 types of Haki, Rayleigh is going to come back and explain this to the crew. Now, another thing is that somebody brought it has to be more than 3 types of Haki, because like Rayleigh actually said that he trained Luffy on the basics, and after that, Luffy just did his own training. Now, I didn't even think about that. That didn't click in my mind now, but he trained Luffy on the basics. What was the advanced? We all assumed that Luffy was gonna get the entire advanced course on this Haki, but all Rayleigh did was teach Luffy the basics. Okay, that means that Rayleigh is holding a heck of a lot from Luffy in terms of Haki, and maybe the only reason he did that is because he didn't think Luffy was ready for it yet, which I guess at the same time he really wasn't. I mean, Luffy's still hard-headed. Luffy hasn't really changed over the 2 years. He's kind of, I think, matured a tiny bit, but he hasn't fully changed yet. I feel like it's gonna happen at some point before he gets in contact with Blackbeard. But there's gotta be more, and I'm gonna say there may be 5 to 7 types, because there's a lot, and I mean a lot of pirates in this world. Not all pirates are gonna be able to tap in to all the freaking Haki, well, all 3 Haki. I mean, or even just all 2 that everybody has. So I believe wholeheartedly there may be, there's gonna be more Haki. Usopp's gonna probably explain this to somebody. Even maybe if you run to Rayleigh again, he'll bring up that he managed to see auras, and maybe that will tip Rayleigh onto something. Maybe the crew has potential altogether. Maybe they all should take part in Rayleigh's training, because they all didn't. Only Luffy, mind you, only Luffy took on Rayleigh's training. And I believe that the reason that he did that, Rayleigh only took Luffy on, mainly because, well, besides the fact that, all his crew members were scattered across the freaking ether, as it were, at the time. But I don't think Rayleigh saw much potential in the others to learn Haki. And the fact that we now know that Zoro and Sanji both might have Conqueror's Haki, which actually it's kind of funny too, because that means that like there's 3 people on the Straw Hat Pirates that can force their presence on people. which is kind of funny, because Sanji doesn't get much credit for anything. But him having Kagura's Haki could really, really tip the scales in a lot of people's favor, because that'd be something you wouldn't even see you wouldn't think a cook would have. Seriously, who would think a cook would have Kagura's Haki? That'd be funny. It's like Sanji probably the only cook in the entire One Piece world has this ability. Well, whoever has a need for it, because you never know. Like, I mean, according to Rayleigh, only 1 out of 100 ever awaken this ability or even have it, because I think basically the reason why it's so rare is because not everybody in the world fights, so there's really no need to everybody's been in war, so there's really been no need to have Kagura's Haki or Haki in general. Like I said, it's an ability everybody has, but only few awaken it, and I think it's really not because they don't have the ability to. It's really because there hasn't ever been a necessary need for the entire world to be aware of this. You know, it's just one of those things. Like, why would a civilian ever have a need for it? Like, what purpose would a civilian have? So, like, the fact that there's only pirates and Marines and stuff like that have it, even the revolutionaries, and I'm pretty sure they have it too, have Haki, is because they're constantly at war with each other, so they need all the advantages they can get. But like I said, I honestly believe there's definitely more Haki. Usopp's kind of proven this at this point, just by seeing auras. So, another thing, you also see this too. Whenever a Haki user uses Haki, they do something very unique to them. And also, like, even using Kagura's Haki, the user's eyes become dilated. You see this happen over time. Even Usopp's Haki, I mean, even Usopp's eyes dilated. Like, they got really small when he used whatever Haki he was using. So Usopp might have used the type of observation Haki that might have been unique to him. And maybe, like I said, instead of there just being different types of Haki all around, maybe there's like subtypes of Haki. And maybe that's what's going on. Like, maybe Usopp used some type of subversion of Haki that may be more powerful than observation in a certain aspect. Like, maybe instead of maybe this subtype of observation of Haki, instead of being able to perceive things before they're happening, maybe he's able to see further. He's got like a grand view of everything just by sitting in one spot. You never know. We have to see what Usopp's capable of with this type of freaking power that he now has. So, like I said, there's definitely more types of Haki. That's kind of obvious at this point, but whether it's different like subtypes of Haki or just different types of Haki all together, we'll have to see. We still got a long way to go for this One Piece series, and I can't wait to be here for the full ride. See you guys for the next video, and the next video for One Piece is going to be, I'm gonna let you guys know this now. I'm gonna record something about Sanji again. Now, it's not gonna be about Sanji's past. It's gonna be about Sanji's effect of his past on the future. You'll see what I mean by that in further on. But look out for a video called, I think I'm gonna call it Sanji's Betrayal, and that's where I'm gonna talk about it. See you guys then.